Hi everyone, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. I'm Kishore and I'm here to solve a Tic Tac Toe Sudoku created by Yuk Yee Lee Au. This is taken from wcpn.nl website and this is a relatively new variant. I remember this for the first time when it was created by Richard Stock, and this is a really nice variant and I thought of covering a video on the Sudoku. The link to solve this is in the description of the video. Let's jump into the rules, and before that, please subscribe to the channel if you are a long-term viewer, and if you have been enjoying the videos, please subscribe to the channel. And we also have a Patreon page where we are posting rewards for our patrons, so please become a patron of the channel. We'd really appreciate if you support us. So the rules are a little bit longer. Classic rules apply. Each row, each column and 3x3 box in the grid has digits 1 to 9 without any repetitions. And apart from that, the rule states that the central 3x3 block, that is the middle box, serves as a map to the 9 blocks. Wherever the central block contains an odd digit, the corresponding block must have 3 odd digits in at least one line, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. So, which means that, this block is our defining block for all the 9 blocks in this Sudoku, or you can say box. So, let's say you have an odd digit here, 3. Obviously, 3 is not possible due to Sudoku rules. So, if you have a 5 here, then it means that in box 1, and how do I say box 1? Because this cell corresponds to box 1 and row 4 column 5 corresponds to box 2. Row 4 column 6 corresponds to box 3. Row 5 column 4 corresponds to box 4. Middle cell, absolute middle cell of the grid corresponds to itself. And row 5 column 6 corresponds to box 6, and so on and so forth. So if you have a 5 here, the rules state that since this is odd digit, box 1 must have a line of 3 odd digits, either in vertical direction, this way, or this way, or horizontal direction, this way, or this way, or in diagonal direction. So this way, this way, or this way. So it must have a line of 3 odd digits in either the horizontal direction, the vertical direction, or the diagonal direction. And similarly, wherever the central block contains an even digit, the corresponding blocks must have 3 even digits in a line. The same is applicable for an even digit. Let's say you have a 8 here, then it means that either these 3 cells or one of these 3 cells or the diagonal cells must have 3 even digits. And the last part of the rule states that no region can contain both a line of odd digits and a line of even digits. So you cannot have a line of both odd and even digits in the box. An excellent Sudoku variant. I really enjoy solving Tic Tac Toe Sudokus, although there are not much out there in the market, you can say. So let's start this excellent Sudoku. This was taken from wcpn.nl website, an excellent website for Sudokus and puzzles. I will also add a link to the website. And let's start this Sudoku now. Okay, there is one trick in this puzzle, a really easy trick you can say, but before that let's do some classic stuff here. We can do a lot of classic stuff. I think row 8 and row 9 have 9s, so that gives me a 9 here. And let's look at the 9s. 9 in row 2 must go in one of these 2 cells. 9 in column 4 has exactly 2 cells left. Okay, let's look at some other digit. Maybe 2 in row 8. There is exactly 1 cell for the 2, so 2 has to be here. 2 in column 8 has 3 cells. 2 in box 4 has 3 cells. Box 5 has again 3 cells. Okay, I don't want to mark each of these possibilities. Let's go to a different digit. 3 in row 2 has exactly 1 cell, so 3 has to be here. And 3 in column 2 has also only one possibility, it would be here. And 3 in column 9 has two possibilities, 3 goes here. And 3 in row 6 goes here. So all the 3s have been populated in the grid. Let's look at a different digit. If you look at row 8 and ask yourself, where does the 7 go? 7 is clearly eliminated here. So 7 has two options. But column 3 doesn't take a 7, so 7 is forced here, and that forces 7 here, forcing the 7 here, giving a domino of 7s in here. And 7 in box 2 can't be in column 4, can't be in row 3, so it goes here, and that puts the 7 in here. Excellent. So the final 7 must be in this domino. Okay. Maybe let's look at the 5s. 5 is not in column 2 and 3, so 5 is forced in this cell. And I think we can either complete this column or look at the 5s for now. Let's keep our solve systematic. So 5 in row 9 is forced in these two cells, and that forces the 5 in here. And 5 in row 1, row 2, so that forces the 5 in here. All right, so I think we can start looking at semi-finished columns or rows, because there are lots of these rows out in the grid now. 2, 3, 6, 7, 5, 8 and 9. So we need 1 and 4 to complete the column 1, and that can be instantly placed. This is 1 because of the 4, and that's a 4, and that gives a 4 in one of these two cells. Okay, let me complete box 7 now. The remaining digits are 4 and 6. I can quickly mark it. 1, 2, 5, 3, 7, 9. So I need 4, 6, 8 in these cells. But 4 cannot be in row 7, column 5 and row 7, column 9. So 4 is forced here. And that gives us 6 here. And these two cells would be 6 and 8. On a completely unrelated note, Sudoku Grand Prix round 8, the round created by US authors, happens this weekend at the Sudoku Grand Prix. It has been created by Thomas Snyder, former World Sudoku Champion. So I'll also add the link to the Sudoku Grand Prix. Instruction booklet has been published, so please do have a look at it. And if you like giving competitive rounds, you can take part in that. So just wanted to say that. Now look at column 9. So 6 is in row 4, so which means this will be a 5 and 8, and that will be a 5, 6 and 8. Okay. Let's look at column 3. 1, 2, 5, 6, 3 and 7. Okay, you can fix the 4 now. So let's look at 4s. 4s seem to get fixed. That puts a 4 in these two cells. 3, 4, 5, 7, 1, 2, 6. So let me put an 8 and a 9 here. And 9 is in these two cells. So that's a 9. That's an 8. These two cells will be 1 and 6. No 9 here. So you can see that so far we have not used the variant part yet. So we will come to that. 3, 4, 5, 1, 6 and 7. So this becomes a 2, 8 and 9. So that's not a 9. And let's look at row 1. 4, 6 and 7 needs to be placed. So that's a 6 and 7. That's a 4 and 6. And that would be 4, 6 and 7. Let's look at row 8. 4 and 5 are the remaining digits, and that can be resolved instantly. 5, 4, and this becomes 6, 8 for the box. And if I look at column 7, so the remaining digits must be 1, 6, 8. I'll place those in. Okay, now it's time to look at the variant part, because we have populated the grid almost every cell. So let's look at the variant part. Maybe there are a few more classic continuations left in the grid, but let's look at the variant part now. The trick that I was talking about is, in this type of Sudokus, Sudoku Tic Tac Toe, the 3 line of odd digits, the 3 line of even digits, I mean, can never happen either horizontally, I mean, let's put it this way, horizontally or vertically. So the three line of even digits can happen only diagonally. The reason is because of the rule constraint. The rule states that no region can contain both a line of odd digits and a line of even digits. So which means that, let's say you have three even digits here. Assume for a moment that these three cells are even, the orange highlighted cells. Now in a box, you will have four even digits and five odd digits. 2, 4, 6, 8 would be the evens, and 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 would be the odds. So the moment that three of these cells become even, you will only have exactly one even left in the grid, and regardless of whether you put that in this row or this row, you cannot prevent three more odd digits from happening in a line. So let's say you have the fourth even digit here, then all these three would be odd, and that would violate the rule. Similarly, let's say you have these three evens vertically, the same thing appears. Let's say these three cells are even, the highlighted three cells are even, assume for a moment. The fourth even must either be in this column of three cells or this column of three cells, and regardless of where it goes, the other three cells must be three odds, and that would violate the rules. So for evens to work, they must always be diagonal, and that would prevent three more odds from happening in a line. So that is the most important trick in the Sudoku, and it often helps to continue the solve a lot. So if you find boxes where you see a central cell as odd, then you can be sure that the corresponding cell in box middle 5 would also be odd, because they can't be even. I told you that for the evens to work, they can only happen diagonally, and which means that the central cell has to be even in those cases. So but in boxes 2, 7 and 8, they are all odd. So which means the corresponding cell for box 2 is this one, this is already placed, and box 7 is this one, so this must be odd. And you can see it cannot be 3, 7, 1 or 5, so it has to be a 9. And doing some Sudoku here, so that gives a 9 here. And box 8 is already mapped by this cell, and 3 is already there, so that's fine. So we got one more digit. Now you can also see that box 9 and even box 4, I missed this box. This is also an odd cell, so which means this cell, row 4 column 4, row 5 column 4, which is mapping to this box, must also be odd. So it's 1 or 5, but 1 is here, so that's a 5. And now if you look at this box, there is only one more odd left. It cannot be in this column, it has to go in one of these two cells, which means either third box or box 6 must be the final odd row of cells. We are not sure yet, but hopefully it will come into play later. Let's look at column 5. We can fill in the cells there. This is a 2, that's a 6 and 8. And let's look at row 6. The remaining cells are 2, 6 and 8. And you can't have the 2 here, that's 6 and 8. Okay. And 5 can be placed in row 9 because of the placed 5 here. That's a 5. That would be a 6 and an 8. Okay, look at this cell. This is even for sure. By this cell, I mean row 4, column 4. This is even for sure. And which means that the box which is mapped to this cell must also contain even digits in a line, and they can only happen in diagonal direction. So this cell has to be even. And now you can see these three cells are even, right? And that satisfies the rule part. So which means that is 1. Let me remove the colors here. Okay, and 6 is not in this cell, so that's 1, 8. Okay, let's finish off row 2, 7, 8, and this would be 1, 7 and 8. Okay, so we see here that this is also even, which is row 6, column 6, which is mapping to box 9, and that has already 3 even digits in a line, so no need to worry there. This red cell must take 4, 6, and 8. 6 is ruled out. I'll remove the 6 from there. Where do I look at here? I said at the start that one of these cells is a 1, which means box 3 or box 6 has odd line of cells. So if it is box 6, then central cell, now you also can have a 5 here, right? Yeah, this can be a 5. This is tricky. Seems to be tricky. So one of these boxes must have a line of 3 odd digits and one must be having a line of 3 even digits. The reason is one is in one of these two cells, which means that the other box must be taking an even line of digits. So if box 3 takes an even line of digits, then this central cell, okay, before that let's remove the other greens. Let's use pink here. So this will become even, in which case this will be 8 and that would be even again, so that would become 6. If suppose box 6 is even, then this would be even and would take the 8, and that would be even and would take the 2 is ruled out, 8 is ruled out, that would be 6. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, in the first case we had 8 in the let me use a different sort of coloring here. Let me use purple here. Okay, so 8 was in these two cells, right? In both the cases, if you look carefully, in the first case 8 was in row 2 column 8. In this second case 8 was in row 4 column 9, which means cells which see both of those cells can't take an 8, because then 8 would be eliminated from both and there is no way you can form an even line of 3 digits in these boxes. So this cell is not 8, that's a 2 6. Is that giving something? No. This is also not 8. So 3 4 7 9 6 8, so that is 1 2 and 5, and unfortunately hasn't given much here. This was 8, this was 6. Second case, this was 8 and this was 6. Oh, okay. We looked at the 8s, but you'll notice that 6s are also happening in both these cells, row 3 column 9 and row 5 column 8. So one of these must be a 6, which means cells which see both of those cells, let's look at the cells which are seeing both of those. I'm highlighting them in dark green. So these cells cannot take a 6. The reason is 6 would be eliminated both from row 3 column 9 and from row 5 column 8, and there is no way you can form an even line of 6s. Excellent logic. So that is a 7. That forces 7 here, putting a 4 6 pair here, and let me remove the stray pencil mark. That gives an 8 here, that gives a 6 here, 8 here, 6 here, 8 here. Excellent, guys. This is awesome Sudoku. 5 6, that forces the 5 here. A really nice one. I enjoyed solving this. That forces 1 and 8 here. This is not 5, that's 1 2. Okay, and that's not 6. We have almost completed the grid here, close to completion at least. And look at box 6. You can no way form a diagonal line of even digits because these both are odd. Row 4 column 7 and row 6 column 9, and similarly these cells are also not possible. If you look at these cells and these cells, there is no way you can form a diagonal line of 3 digits, 3 even digits, which means my diagonal line of 3 even digits must happen in box 3. That means that's a 1. So box 3 must take an even digit here, so that is not 1, that becomes 1, this becomes 8, and that would be 6, that's 2, that's 1, that's 2, that's 8, that's 6, that's 6, that's 4, that's 4, and that's an 8. And with that, we have completed this superb Sudoku by Yuk Yee Lee Au. What a nice solve it had. The most important trick, as I told in the Sudoku, was to understand that the 3 line of even digits will always happen in the diagonal way. Hope you all enjoyed watching this video. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and become a patron of the channel. We hope to see you soon. Bye bye.